Let the record reflect we have reconvened with all members present, though we have 3 members absent, and all members are present from our roll call earlier. Due to various reasons, we're down to our skeleton crew. A quorum is 3 plus the mayor, so we have our quorum. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, and after pledge, please remain standing. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing. Want a moment of silence for 2 Madisonians we've lost over the past week. Ron Potter, longtime volunteer for the Borough, Electric Utility Study Committee, Zoning Board member, Historic Preservation Committee, Open Space Advisory Committee, and pretty much anything else you would ask Ron to do, he would step forward to do that. Also, our next door neighbor to Hartley Dodge, Dr. Michael Sabarese, 40-year dentist in Madison, we lost in the past week. So please, a moment of silence for Ron Potter and Dr. Michael Sabarese. Thank you. Okay. Minutes for approval. We'll do the 3 executive together. So that's a motion for the executive minutes of September 28th, of October 14th, and October 28th. You buzzed in too fast there.
Yeah, I know. I thought you were doing one at a time. Anyway, I'll move.
I'll second.
Okay, and there is no discussion executive on that, so roll call vote.
Mr. Landrigan?
Yes.
Mrs. Vitale?
I'll abstain on September 28th and yes to the others.
Okay, and Mr. Wolkowitz?
Yes.
And for the motion on the regular minutes of September 28th, October 14th, and October 28th.
I'll move them.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Mr. Landrigan?
Yes.
Mrs. Vitale?
Abstain September 28th and yes to the rest.
And Mr. Wolkowitz?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Welcome. So just a point of order for our agenda today with our skeleton crew. All the ordinances that are up for hearing tonight and final adoption will be pushed to our next meeting on November 23rd. We will do introductions and we will follow the rest of the agenda except for when we get to resolutions. The last resolution, which is related to authorizing 2015 budget transfers, we need 2/3 vote on that, so that will also be pushed. And a few other items while I'm up here and being the mayor. I want to congratulate our council members re-electing. Ostry Bailey obviously is not here today, but Ben Wolkowitz, congratulations on your re-election. Looking forward to another 3 years working hard for the borough. Also want to congratulate our State Assembly members, John McKeon and Mila Jacey, on their return to the General Assembly. They have been working very hard for Madison and will continue to work for Madison. And I think Carmela has part of a report of some of the work that they've done and a bill that was just signed by the governor today. I also want to say, I guess every cloud has a silver lining, that the voter turnout in Madison was 29%, which is not good. But except for if you compare it with the whole state, which was under 21%, it's good to see that Madison is well above the average. And certainly we would be a far better nation if we all went out and used our right to vote, especially as we come up on Veterans Day, that people have fought for this country for that right, and 21% is embarrassing. It's my little lecture for the day. Shifting to the Veterans Memorial or Veterans Day, if you were there on Saturday at James Park, the dedication of the Walk With Us path. It was great work led by Mayor Jack Dunn in putting together the engraved pavers. Also, DPW provided leadership in getting the project done and doing all the work around there along with some other volunteers. If you haven't had a chance to stop by there, a great time to do it would be this Wednesday at 11 o'clock for our Veterans Day ceremony to recognize the veterans and take a look at the engraved pavers. There's going to be another round of pavers put in there in the springtime, so if you missed the opportunity, you can go on to our new RoseNet website and print out the form or stop at the clerk's office. And $75 a paver, which is the proceeds are going to redo the park there, and it's a great way to recognize the veterans that have done so much for our country. Also want to mention what a great day Halloween was. If you were in downtown Madison, I was joking with some of the chamber representatives who put on the annual Halloween parade. I don't think there was a single child at home because there were so many children marching through downtown Madison that there couldn't have been anyone home. It was a beautiful parade and fun to look at all the costumes. The Employee of the Month for November is Hattie Evans of the Tax Collector's Office for her work in assisting the Water and Electric Department with mail deposits, processing payments, and data entry and customer service. Also, an anniversary this month, on November 27th, Jay Healy will be celebrating his 20th anniversary with the Borough. And two proclamations. I don't think we have anyone representing the Pancreatic Cancer Day, so I will just, I'll skip the whereases and cover some of this because this is what we do every year on November, declaring November 13th Cancer Day, World Pancreatic Cancer Day, to raise awareness. It is estimated in this year 48,000 people will be diagnosed with pancreatic cancer in the United States, and 40,000 will die from the disease. Pancreatic cancer, one of the deadliest cancers, is currently the fourth leading cause of cancer death in the United States and projected to become the second by the year 2020. Pancreatic cancer is the only major cancer with a 5-year relative survival rate in single digits at just 7%. When symptoms of pancreatic cancer present themselves, it is generally in the late stage, and 73% of pancreatic cancer patients die within the first year of the diagnosis, while 93% die within the first 5 years. And whereas 1,560 deaths will occur in New Jersey in 2015, and pancreatic cancer is the seventh most common cause of cancer-related death in men and women across the world, and there will be an estimated 367,000 new pancreatic cancer cases diagnosed globally in 2015. And whereas the good health and well-being of the residents of Borough of Madison are enhanced by a direct result of increased awareness about pancreatic cancer and research into early detection, its causes and effective treatments. Therefore, I, Robert H. Connolly, Mayor, Borough of Madison, on behalf of the governing body, proclaim November 13, 2015 as World Pancreatic Cancer Day in the Borough of Madison. So please keep that in mind. And this is a good segue into this next proclamation that Sunday, November 1st, there was a jazz festival at Shanghai Jazz to honor Vicky and Tony Martell. And I do want to read this full proclamation because it says so much about what they have done, not only for Madison, but for the world, and what probably appeared to be a very simple promise that Tony Martell made to his dying son, TJ, turned into such an incredible effort. Whereas in 1963, Tony and Vicky Martell moved to Madison with their two children, Debbie and TJ, and immediately became deeply involved in the community through school and church activities. And whereas in 1973, Tony Martell made a promise to his son, who was dying of leukemia, that he would raise $1 million for leukemia research so that others would not have to go through what TJ did while battling the disease. Whereas in 1975, the TJ Martell Foundation for Leukemia, Cancer, and AIDS Research was founded. And whereas in 1975, the foundation held its first fundraiser at Buddy Rich's Jazz Club in New York, highlighted by performances by Mel Torme, Ella Fitzgerald, Benny Goodman, Duke Ellington, and Buddy Rich, raising $50,000. And whereas in 1976, Vicki Martell became the director of the music ministry for her beloved church, St. Vincent's, and led the children's choir, the adult choir, the contemporary ensemble, the bell choir, and mentored the cantors for 25 years. And whereas in 2015, the T.J. Martell Foundation has raised over $250 million off of that $1 million promise, and is the music industry's largest foundation that funds innovative medical research focused on finding cures for leukemia, cancer, and AIDS that has saved or extended the lives of tens of thousands of people worldwide, and is now celebrating its 40th anniversary. And whereas November 1st, Evening of Jazz returns the foundation to its jazz roots in a world-class jazz club after 20 years of dedicated Madison volunteers successfully presenting the walkathon in Madison that raised over $1.8 million in research. And the evening on last Sunday raised $80,000. So Madison is still generous to this day to the foundation. Whereas we wish to honor Tony and Vicki Martell for their steadfast dedication in helping others for over 4 decades. Now, therefore, I, Robert H. Conley, the mayor of Borough of Madison, on behalf of the governing body, do hereby proclaim November 1st, 2015 as Vicki and Tony Martell Day in recognition of the compassion for the well-being of others and their dedication and commitment for raising funds for leukemia, cancer, and AIDS research. So this was presented to them at the event. And if you see Tony, please extend his congratulations for the great work that he has done and the foundation will do for many years to come. And now for reports, committees, and anyone that has a backup report for the our absent council members, please take care of it when I call you up with it. Ms. Vitale, Utilities.
Well, I have all the backups if you want to hear them.
All right.
Shall I start now?
Sounds good.
Okay. This is Austrie's Community Affairs report, and it's from the Edna Irely Byrne, who is the the Madison Senior Center person. Laura Hawkins from the Greater North Jersey chapter of the Alzheimer's Association spoke on understanding memory loss on Tuesday, October 13. In addition to explaining the differences in normal and abnormal changes in memory, she also described the 10 warning signs of dementia and answered in-depth questions from the audience. In partnership with the Madison Health Department, the annual flu clinic was held here on Wednesday, October 14th and October 21st. Attendance was down due to availability of vaccine locally, but once again the program ran smoothly with the assistance of Auxiliary Police Officer John Granata, who kept order in the parking lot as flu shot clients, senior center participants, and adult school students vied for parking spaces. The Friends of the Madison Senior Center were on hand to staff the tent at the rescheduled Bottle Hill Day on Saturday, October 24th. This was a group's first experience promoting senior services, and the next Friends meeting found them brimming with ideas for Bottle Hill Day 2016. On November 3rd, Edna attended the Rutgers School of Social Work workshop on legal issues and planning. The class covered the guardianships, POAs, advanced directives, and healthcare proxies, Medicare and Medicaid services, and long-term services. And that's Community Affairs. Want me to keep going?
Yes.
Okay.
You're on a roll.
All right. This is from Chief DeRosa from the Fire Department. The month of October was a busy month for the fire department. With October being Fire Prevention Month, the fire department brought their fire prevention programs to all the pre-K through 8th grade students, both in our public and private schools. They also visited 3 preschool programs in town. These fire prevention programs, which was geared for each age group, were presented to approximately 2,350 kids. The fire department also spoke with a group of senior citizens at 15 Chateau Thierry about fire safety. The fire department responded to 125 calls for assistance during the month of October. There were 32 general alarms, 22 still alarms, 21 investigations, and 50 medical calls. And the fire department was able to train in 3 donated homes during the month of October. They would like to thank Madison property owners, Mr. Iosa, Mr. Peterson, and Mr. Heller, for allowing the fire department to train in their buildings prior to them being demolished. Now, there are some noteworthy occurrences from the police department. At the beginning of October, they held a crossing guard appreciation breakfast. On October 7th, Patrolman Morales completed his field training program and is currently on solo patrol, which is great for us. Class 2 Special Officer Adam Riley assumed the school resource officer position. They managed a successful Bottle Hill Day as it relates to public safety and had quite a few of the officers out, which was very good for the town to see. They also managed a successful Halloween parade. Madison PBA number 92 hosted a fundraiser for Captain Sorella at the North Stars Club on October 16th, and that was very, very successful. Madison PD awarded a certificate from AAA on 10/29/15 for zero traffic pedestrian fatalities in 2014. Madison PD is hosting a Fairleigh Dickinson University course on leadership that goes from October 1st to December 17th. New Jersey Division of Criminal Justice body armor grant was awarded in the amount of $2,857. Madison Police Department, PBA number 92, had an annual food drive from October to November in collaboration with Whole Foods, Rheology, and Drew University. I understand that was very successful, and they sent lots of food to for that food drive. Captain Sorella was honored as the Grand Marshal of the New York City Columbus Day Parade. He was also honored as the Grand Marshal of the East Hanover Columbus Day Parade. Madison participated in the Tie One On campaign to raise awareness for breast cancer. And I think that's enough for them.
Now, utilities?
Okay, so we'll go to utilities. Water department, the water samples are done on a consistent basis when the state requires them. There were 2 tanks that were inspected last week with a diver, so we're waiting for a report. It was very interesting. We had quite a conversation at the Utility Advisory Committee because these 2 divers actually go into our tanks, to inspect them and make sure that everything is okay. And they also repaired a leak on Troy Court on a 6-inch water main. And they did a water hookup for the new park at Hillcrest and Green Village Road. This is, let me see. I got one missing here. I know I have one from Mike. Okay. This is from Mike Piano in the electric department. I know I have one from him. Okay, they completed new secondary cable and transformers on Greenwood Avenue. They installed new poles and anchors on Britton Street, Lancaster Road, Lorraine Road, Main Street, and Green Avenue. They replaced 2 pad mount transformers and added 4 transformer extension pads on Rolling Hill Court. They installed an energized service riser for new basketball court lights at Dodge Field, and I think that's completed now. Installed new conduit cable and lighting at the World War I monument. So that flag is lit on a consistent basis. Line clearance on Rosewood Condos, Niles, Brook Lake Road, and Lorraine Road, and their usual service upgrades and removals and mark-out requests. We have some good news today. Governor Christie signed A2385/S944 into law. This important legislation authorizes rural electric cooperative and certain municipalities to establish a municipal shared services authority. Madison will hopefully be part of this authority, and the residents of Madison will benefit from more stable electric rates. I think that's it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well done. And now we're just down to the last two reports. Finance Borough Clerk, Mr. Landrigan.
Thank you, Mayor. Okay. A reminder to all residents that fourth quarter property taxes are due. You should pay as soon as possible to avoid any interest penalty. The staff in the tax collection office is doing an excellent job handling the volume of residents coming in. The tax collector has scheduled the annual tax sale for December 17th of this year. Special thanks to Hattie Evans from the tax collection office for helping out the utility billing department, and also congratulations to Hattie for winning Employee of the Month. Jim Burnett and Robert Califord have started crafting the 2016 municipal budget. The 5-year capital plan will be presented before year end. And finally, later this evening, we'll hear a short presentation from Donna Carey, sitting right over there, about some exciting upgrades to our utility billing system. And now I had mentioned to the mayor, I'm the OEM coordinator, so I have a very happy announcement to make. If you recall, over the last few years, we've had some pretty bad storms. We started off with Hurricane Irene. We had the October snowstorm, followed by our favorite Hurricane Sandy. During these events, some people did lose their homes. And right after, I believe it was one of the storms, there was a horrific fire on Park Avenue where residents were displaced. The good news is many good-hearted residents of Madison in true form came out to help these people. I can remember on the Park Avenue fire, Father George from St. Vincent Martyr came out and offered, assistance. But that got me thinking, what could Madison do better to help these people? So I spoke to some of my colleagues, especially that woman sitting right across the room from me, and I said, let's form what has now been called the Community Outreach Program. And that's going to be run by the Thursday Morning Club. And effectively what this will do is this. Say there's a major fire or somebody loses their home, whatever happens at any time of the day or night. I'll get a call saying that this occurred. I will then contact the Thursday Morning Club that this has happened and to expect one of a few things. One, that some residents may need housing. And we've set up, through the Henry Perkins Trust Fund, the funds to put these people up in a hotel nearby. Secondly, they have the resources now to help them find vital records that they may need, food, clothing, and to help them get restarted. This is all going to start on December 1st. So this is a way of formalizing what Madison has always done a great job of doing, but now we'll have a better control over it. And the side benefit of it is, rather than the police and fire departments having to worry about these people at the scene, that now falls to OEM and the Thursday Morning Club. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. And Health, Mr. Wolkowitz.
Thank you, Mayor. The Health Department is going to be very busy between now and year end, and they've suggested that everyone get healthy for the holidays. I thought that was reasonably catchy and wanted to mention it. The events they are sponsoring include another evening flu clinic for adults and youth that will be held on November 17th for anyone who's yet to get their flu shot. Little reminder, in the state of New Jersey, if you have a child between 6 months and 59 months in daycare, they must have been inoculated against flu to continue to attend daycare. So it is a serious requirement. On the 4th of December, there'll be an adult health screening This strikes me as one that's very important. If you don't do this privately, you should definitely consider going. The screening will include comprehensive metabolic profile blood analysis. Yes, it means they will take blood, but being as squeamish as I am, I go through it. It's not such a big deal. They'll take blood pressure checks, and what you get out of it, and also they'll provide information on cholesterol and diet. And the end result will be to give you all the information you'd ever possibly want about your cholesterol levels, what's good, what's bad, and what you might be thinking about doing if you're on the bad side of stuff. When you call and you need to call to register by November 12th, you will have to provide not only, of course, your own name and contact info, but also that of your physicians. And the reason for that is typically your physician would get the results of blood panel work, and so that would be done in this case. If you're thinking about it, I encourage you to call sooner than later, because this is a test where you have to fast, typically 10 to 12 hours. And if you're like me, you'd like to be in by 8 a.m. So I encourage calling early. And then finally, this is a reminder, pardon me, I've mentioned this before, there will be a men's health screening clinic. It will be held on Monday, December 7th from 6 to 8 p.m. And again, if you're interested in going, please call the health department to register. That registration should be done by November 24th. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And just two other quick items that I neglected. The library had hoped to open today. Excuse me. Let me try it. The library had hoped to open today, but set back with the HVAC project. Still hoping for later in the week, but please check the website or call to get an update. Website is the best way to get the information on the library opening. Also, our Madison High School girls field hockey team won sectionals over the weekend, and we wish them best of luck as they move on to states. Communications and petitions.
None received, Mayor.
Okay, now we're on the first of two invitations for discussions from the public. This is when you may come up and comment on items that are on the agenda, discussions or the resolutions that are listed. As mentioned before, our three items on discussion are the water rate rollback, JCP&L presentation, and utility billing presentation, and any of the resolutions. Shortly after our discussions, since we have no ordinances for hearing, you may come back up and comment on anything. So if you want to comment on any of those items, please step up to the lectern, state your name, your address, the item you're discussing, and try to keep your comments to 3 minutes or less. Anyone wishing to be heard? Tom.
Get this close enough so you can hear me there. Thomas Bentinger, 20 Rolling Hill Court. I'm here to talk about the water rate rollback. As you know, I chaired the strategic planning on the budget process, and a significant element dealt with the utility contribution to the support of that budget. And this obviously deals with that particular significant item. One of the significant, that may not be as some of the others, that we recommended that the water and electric support be combined, so that the water was always one of those as a, oh, by the way, and it can be a significant. The other committees that were involved, I think, demonstrated that the water rates in Madison are significantly lower than any of the surrounding municipalities or government entities. If you just use a statistic, if we were charging at the rate, for instance, that Chatham used for water, we would raise an additional $750,000 to the bottom line. So it's not something to sneeze at. It sounds like it's a small thing that we're trying to change here, but I think the elimination of that particular clause, I think, should be supported because it needs to be dealt with in the context of all, I think, the items that we're dealing with in the utility support. So I encourage the Borough Council to significantly take that as a premise and to support that reduction of, or elimination of that clause in the ordinance.
Thank you very much. Anyone else wishing to be heard? Woody? Mayor?
Woody Kirkeslager, 60 Prospect Street. Can I talk about the borough website? Or is that not allowed?
That's technically on the next round.
All right, I'll come back
Okay.
in a few minutes. Since I can talk about the water rates, I have been of the opinion, and I encouraged in the past to actually increase water rates and make them sensitive to usage. Water is a limited commodity. It is something that if you live through a summer like we had this year, you know that it's not an endless commodity, and it's not something that we should encourage wasteful use of. So whatever the appropriate price of water is, I think you should look at it, look at other towns, and basically tie it into what our usage has been and is now, and see whether we can continue it. But Tom makes an excellent point by actually quantifying the cost of the current prices. When I looked at these numbers in the past, we actually put an increase in place. We actually increased the, remembering correctly,
Yes.
right? Mm-hmm. We actually increased the rates, and that I believe is a good thing, because I believe the commodity is price elastic, and you increase the price and usage will go down. And it's something to be desired, particularly in this time of global warming and
Thank you very much. Anyone else wishing to be heard to comment on items on the agenda? Seeing none, I close this part of the agenda and we move on to our discussions. And first one is our water rate rollback. Our auditor is here. Al?
Going over to sit with Carmella?
Running away.
Okay.
Now they're going to sit with
Coming over here
Carmella.
'cause she thought I
They're
was
just getting
online.
ready for presentation, so,
They're just running away.
yeah. Auditors tend to do that, sorry.
I tell you.
I just
Run away
looked
from me,
lonely.
too. My name is Valerie Dolan. I'm with Nisavaccia. I'm a partner at Nisavaccia, and we were asked to come to speak on the water rollback. After looking at all the information that's available, our opinion, the recommendation is to leave the rate where it is. There are two pieces that we've looked at. There's an automated meter reading program that's currently in place. As of now, you have $1 million in reserve. Looking at the cost of those programs run anywhere between $2 and $3 million, so you're only a third to a half of the way there saving for that money. Also, looking at your capital budget, you have about $1.5 million in capital projects that you'd also like to do within the water program. So as a reduction in those rates, you'd be losing the revenue of approximately $240,000 in revenue. That would impact those items that you'd like to do. It would impact either one, both, or a combination of the two. What it would do is all those capital items that you would like to do, including the automated, you would have to go into debt. You'd have to issue debt to authorize to be able to do those programs you'd like. And the alternative is you would lose the amount that you were anticipating in your current fund budget of $500,000 is currently what you're using to help support that budget. That was the money that comes from the surplus in the water that goes over to the operating budget. Madison currently is unique, as you all know, that there is a large number of exempt properties in Madison, which you don't pay which have water and utilize your utilities. That is your only way of collecting a revenue from those exempt properties is in the water and in the utility side. So by doing a reduction on the rates, it would be in essence shifting a burden to your taxpayers for reducing the rate.
Okay.
Questions?
Any questions for Valerie? No questions, then we go right to discussion. I certainly can give some background on the 10% rollback, because that was my idea at the time. And as things often do, they make sense at the time that we were did not have as good feel for the capital investment that water needed beyond the water meter project. The other thing was, compared to some of the neighboring towns, their rate structure has changed drastically in the last 5 years, and so I certainly would not have suggested it with the knowledge I have today.
I'll just make a comment. I think the technology has changed, and I absolutely agree with Mayor Kirkeslager. I have said over and over again how important water is. We have an aging infrastructure, which really frightens the heck out of me. I mean, when you look at our sewer, our joint meeting, that goes back to 1915. And I think that our water infrastructure goes even further back. So I'm concerned about what can happen, and I want to make sure that that there is money there to appropriate and to make sure that the systems are all working. We're going to pass a resolution tonight because we did work on Well E and found that it was in pretty bad disrepair. So one of the things that we have to consider is like moving forward and making sure that the other 4 wells that we have are in complete, they're complete and there's nothing wrong with them. So I have no problem with this. I sat here when we did this, and like the mayor said, it made sense at the time, but I think it's time for us to, remove that, from this particular ordinance. So,
Bob and then Ben.
I'll be very brief. Your points were very well taken. The bottom line is this: work needs to be done. We need the money to pay for it. So to roll back the rates at this point makes no sense at all, especially since we're cheaper than everybody else, although that can almost be meaningless because maybe they're too expensive. The bottom line is work needs to be done. It has to be paid for. So at a minimum, we keep them where they are.
Ben.
I just want to mention that an outgrowth of the strategic planning process has been the hiring of outside consultants to opine on our capital needs for, among other things, our water utility. And the results of that work should be available by year end, if not sooner. And it would be an important input to this discussion. I'm supportive of the notion of leaving rates where they are. However, I think also that this should not be based on opinion. It should be based on a very simple calculation, and an important and missing piece has been capital needs of the utility. And once that's in, I'll feel more comfortable with this, but my inclination at the moment is in favor. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Valerie. So we have Ordinance 55, which is listed for introduction, which even with our Mr. Half the council we will introduce, but the full council will be back here for its hearing in 2 weeks, so it'll be further discussion if necessary. Okay, Jersey Central Power and Light, Robert Walton. And freeholder from Hunterdon County.
Yeah, lucky man, but freeholder from Hunterdon County, where we were wise enough to also hire Matt Jacoby.
There we go.
Again, Rob Walden, Jersey Central Power and Light, 52 Chatham Road in Summit, New Jersey. And my real purpose for coming here tonight is just to make a formal introduction. I've been with the company for a year now as the manager of external affairs for this region, 22 towns in the Summit Line Shop District. And I've met you, Mayor, from time to time, and some members of council at your OEM meeting before the hurricane that did not arrive. But my job for Jersey Central is to be your contact for any issues arising from any issues that involve electricity in Madison. Now, obviously, with most of my mayors and council members, those issues come from poles and outages and things of that sort. And since you have your own utility, the issue just simply has to be with that transmission line that delivers electricity to the Madison substation. My office is in Summit. It is at the Trainer Substation, which is the substation which feeds the Madison Substation. So any electricity that comes into Madison first comes through my office, so to speak. So my job is, as I said, just to handle any issues you might have or any questions. Your operations folks and your utility have direct contact with our operations folks.
Good.
They shouldn't call me unless they want me to buy them lunch or something like that, but for the most part, they should deal directly with their contacts. Also, while I'm here, I just wanted to let you know we have, as part of what Jersey Central Power and Light does to educate and bring about the next generation of line workers, we've partnered with Raritan Valley Community College and Brookdale Community College to do what we call the Power Systems Institute. It is basically lineman school. It's a 2-year associate's degree in electric utility. JCP&L pays for the tuition and the books and all of the costs for our students. Not just anybody can get into it. We do have a selection process. But after the 2-year degree, they're qualified to work as linemen for us, for PSE&G, for Atlantic City Electric, or for Madison Electric. We're having an open house on November 17th at RVCC in Branchburg. I brought some brochures which we'll leave behind. We certainly encourage any young man or woman who's looking for a career to check us out. The nice thing about the graduation ceremony, and as a Hunterdon County freeholder, we attend the Raritan Valley graduation ceremonies. That's our community college in Hunterdon County. Instead of wearing their regular caps and gowns, all of our graduating students wear their hard hats. So it's a nice touch. You get to see which students are graduating from PSI. With that, I'll certainly entertain any questions. I do believe that Mr. Cody forwarded to me an email regarding burying the transmission line that feeds the Madison substation from the Trainer substation. And a portion of that line is indeed underground. It is the portion adjacent to or close to the Chatham train station. And in researching that line, the New Jersey Transit required that we put the line underground near the platform of the train station. They would not give us overhead rights for that line, which is why it's buried there. And probably has something to do with the safety of the traveling public at that train station. That's the reason it's buried. We are certainly happy to look into burying the line the entire stretch of the way, and certainly can certainly look at the cost and how we would share that cost if the borough would like us to.
Yep. Thank you. We'll take questions. Obviously, that one's hot on our list because our the Halloween storm outage and Sandy were both related to the overhead lines that run side by side and both being taken out. The Halloween storm predated my time as mayor, but I certainly felt very confident and comfortable with the communication level we had with JCP&L in the hours and days after Sandy, and we knew that in that was basically a 48-hour time period before it was restored that the confidence was they were not leaving until we were restored. So we appreciate that effort.
Here, thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
Yeah, I just want, after Sandy and when both feeder lines went down, I mean, we were extremely concerned. We have an excellent electric department, so we were one of the first municipalities that came back up. But I think that a big consideration is that we lost those feeder lines very simply because the roots were not maintained, and just trees went down that probably should have been pruned and whatever. I mean, maintaining that probably, on a consistent basis probably would be very important. If I would assume that it would cost a great deal of money to bury those feeder lines. I mean, as much as I would love to see them being done.
Yeah, you're right. I was at a meeting this morning with Warren Township looking at just a regular distribution line to move to go, I think it was about 150 feet, and it was 3 times the cost to put it underground as it was to put poles and leave it overground. So, yes, the cost would be high, to say the least. And I wouldn't want to quote a number because I'm not even sure how much it would be for that entire run of wires. The one thing that you brought up with the tree trimming, the BPU instituted a pilot program this last year in, I believe, 4 to 6 municipalities or 4 to 6 areas where they broadened the scope of the tree trimming along those transmission lines. And heretofore, it was trees that were where the canopy was falling on the lines or that were in close proximity, And in these pilot programs, we actually extended it much further, and all the way up through the air, so no wires could even hang over no trees could actually hang over the wires. That is probably going to be expanded and be made the standard for all of those kind of lines. That would prevent what happened during Hurricane Sandy, that transmission line, if that's the new standard. Now, the downside to that is, of course, more tree trimming, a little more expense on our end, less beautiful trees, but that's the trade-off, is you get more reliability. So in all likelihood, that'll be the 2016 standard. It'll be more aggressive tree trimming, a wider right-of-way along those transmission lines, and hopefully that would prevent the kind of incident that all of us experienced in Sandy.
Robert. All right. Thank you very much for a great update. Carmel, you want to set up the utility billing?
I do. I want to introduce Donna Carey, who is supervisor of the utility collection department. And we have some exciting news about the utility billing. Donna has worked very, very hard, along with Jim Burnett, on this. And meeting after meeting after meeting, and finally getting this done. So I have to congratulate Donna, because it's just not getting a new bill. It's merging and reconfiguring each one of the accounts, the water accounts, the sewer accounts, and giving new numbers and whatever. So Donna has taken that job on by herself. So besides that, we're going to go to a new payment platform, which is called My Gov Hub. So thank you, Donna.
Thank you, everyone. We'd like to introduce the new utility billing. We will be merging the bill, electric and water, into one. There's going to be a new payment platform on our website called My Gov Hub, and that's all going to be coming soon. Merging of the electric and water utility bills. Why? To improve payments, save money, less paper, and more environmentally friendly. It's going to be coming in about the second week or so of December, and the next step is for our software provider to merge the two databases into one. Also the sewer.
There's a lot of work that's being done, as Carmela said.
Yes.
And Donna's been working on this for over a month to get the accounts to line up, so these two separate databases, one for water and one for...
First, what we had to do was I had to change some account numbers so they were more identified with the merge. If you just have an electric only, your account number is going to start with a 4 or 5. Water only is going to start with a 2. This way here, when it merges, that it can identify, and it will only be 1. And also, what else did I do?
Sewer?
What that means is the account numbers typically start with a $0 or 1, I forgot.
0 to 1.
0
yeah.
or 1. So if you have a water account and an electric account, it was the same account number as
Right.
01257, 01257. But if you only had a water account, we needed to identify that. So that's why she changed the number. So 01257 accounts will now merge into one within the Harris billing system that she currently uses.
Right, so like most of you who are homeowners will not have any change in your account number. It's those who have one service or the
This is what an electric bill is going to
This
look
is
like.
going to be our new electric bill. The change will be more likely is going to be in the center of the bill. Of course, Loretta Carey does not use $24,000 worth of electric.
She would kill you.
Boy,
She would probably move out of the state. But however, it's going to say electric. If it's estimated, it will say estimated, and the service charge and interest. This is really a demand account, so the next thing it would say demand. water and the interest, and if the water is estimated. This,
On a bill that
if it only has electric for the month, then you'll see a 0 for the water. If you did not pay your water bill that month, the next month you're billed for your electric, the price will stay there, the amount will stay there until it's paid.
going to save the borough money. You get two separate pieces of paper, so postage will be less. And really what that means is it'll allow us to put more stuffers and other things inside the envelope. Right now, we're kind of limited to a certain number of pieces of paper. Now that's less. And also, the utility billing staff had to make sure that as these bills were fed in, they were fed in properly. So, John Hoover on Overhill Drive got his water and electric bill folded and put into that, and Jim Burnett on Woodcliff Drive, and Bob Landergan on just down the line. So now that labor-intensive aspect of the billing will be a labor savings, and then a paper savings, and a postage savings.
Because we have to actually hand batch when the water and the electric were billed. You had to look at the name, the account number, and
Yeah.
it's going to save plenty of time.
Do you want to talk a little bit about the barcode that's going to show around here?
Yes, the barcode will be at the bottom for our payments, the new system. So this way here, we will be able to just scan it in, and it will accept the account number, and we can plug in the amount manually. So at least this way here, we're not going to have to type in the 5 or the digit number to bring up the account.
Right now in our tax collection office, the bill has a barcode on it. They hold it under the scanner. Boom, your account comes right up. It shows how much you're due. If that's correct, they type in and post the payment, and it's done. Donna's system, the Harris system, which is for the electric and utility and water billing, she has to sit here and actually pull up the account number, type in 41207, hit enter, yes, it's Loretta Carey, and go forward from there. So this will expedite and make the posting of the payments more efficient and faster.
Also, Jim, besides electric and water, some people pay sewer charges, and what else is there? The sprinklers and...
The sprinklers?
Yeah. Their bill would be...
The bill will be underneath the water, and it will be bold like the water, and if prior sprinkler or water heater for electric, there's only like 2 accounts that have water heaters. If it's a solar meter, it will be under electric, and it will be stand out that it's solar and that they get their price reduction off of that.
And just for clarification for those in the audience and those who will be watching this at home later, as you heard, people paying sewer rate, no, you're not going to get charged for sewer. Sewer is a charge for the nonprofits that, your sewer is embedded in your property taxes, and so the nonprofits that receive that service need to pay for it, and so they're the ones that are paying that.
I want to let everyone know your bill's going to be changing in a couple months, and don't be surprised.
Bigger and better. Okay, right now, we're going to talk about my Gov Hub. It's going to be a new payment online system. It's going to be able to manage your account 24/7. You're going to be able to go to the site and see everything. It's going to make payments via e-check and access the bill, payment history. Anything that you need will be on my Gov Hub as far as your electric and water accounts.
So right now, you can't see your past history.
Right.
You can't see all that. All you can do is say, I want to make this payment. What do I currently owe? This will show past history. I think it's helpful for people if they want to look back and see when did I pay the bill and all that.
That's okay. It's safe and secure, like our one now, but it's better and it's more people accessible, and they'll be able to see a lot more on it. Also, for those who own multiple properties, they can manage all of their accounts under one.
You'll have one login for my
One
Gov Hub,
log
but if
in.
you have multiple properties, you'll have one login, you'll be able to see all the different properties and what you owe in one. Also mobile compatible, so you will actually be able to see your account on a mobile device or handheld device.
That's what it's going to look like.
So we have so we have three things we're really here to talk about: the bill, my Gov Hub, and then some more exciting news that's coming soon to utility.
It is. Well, we're going to get the handheld devices to replace this. This is what our meter readers go out with every month, write down, and subtract. The new devices, they'll just go up to the meter, be able to punch it in, and it'll automatically go into the person's account. We'll just have to get the handheld devices ready in the morning or the night before for our meter readers. They'll pick them up and they can go out on their routes, and instead of handwriting it, just typing it in, they'll bring it in, we'll put it to the home base, press a button or two, and all those payments, all those reads are in automatically, instead of us sitting there going page by page by page and putting in the meter reads.
So they will literally sit here and look at this and say, here's the reading, type in the consumption on everyone. They do that right now. That will obviously be a very significant time savings for the department. This system is also, this handheld meter reading device has wireless communication, and we are going to, along with these handheld devices and the systems that support it, we're going to be buying a number of meters, both water and both a water register that goes on top of a current Neptune meter or a new electric meter that can pop on. And you'll be able to, Jay, from a distance, will be able to press a button and pull reads down. So let's say the new development over at the Greenville Road school site on Kings Road, they'll be able to walk into the utility room, press a button, and pull 135 electric reads down in a matter of a minute, as opposed to having to sit there and hand type them in. This is the first step towards getting an automatic meter reading capable system. They're also going to be buying 10 higher level meters that will go on go on 10 of the top 50 largest customers that we have. Those meters are much more expensive, but they will measure interval data every 15 minutes, and we'll have a meter data management system. That meter data will be downloaded into here, put in, and we'll be able to see consumption of our largest customers on a 15-minute increment. The goal is to have all 50 or more of our largest customers have that metering data. As we collect that data, it's extremely valuable for us to look and see the consumption patterns of our largest customers, to be able to talk to them and either through possibly a new rate setting measures for these largest customers, find ways to have them shift their consumption to times of day when we can buy the electricity at a less expensive. So one more thing on e-billing. You want to talk about that?
Billing's going to also be coming. Whoa. Going to be able to have the capability of having your bill emailed to you. Right here, it's totally paperless, it's totally secure, and our provider will let you know. It's the only other thing also that we're going to have is a billing for automatic withdrawal from your checking account.
So that's something we need to talk about. So the way the electronic the e-notification goes, it'll notify you and say, oh, you're a member of, you have an account at my Gov Hub, your account's up. And if you choose to go paperless, thank you very much, the borough appreciates it, we saved a little money, you saved the environment. You won't get a paper bill, you'll just get that email notification. And then you go onto my Gov Hub, with one click of a button, you'll see your account. You can pay it electronically, or you can go home and write a check and mail it in to us. The next step, which is one that we feel we do need to talk to council about a little bit, and we'll talk about it now, is the ability for this system to have someone give us their bank account information. They would fill out a form. I do give the Borough of Madison the right to debit my bank account at the end of every month for my bank, for John Hoover is very happy about that, by the way.
I think so.
For, to be able to debit my bank account and automatically pay my electric bill every month or my water bill on a quarterly basis. The issue is that we would have this bank information in our system. So there's some security issues, but the resident will be waiving clearly their rights to that. I think we're all used to it with other systems where we have banking or credit card information online. This would be an automatic debit from your bank account. It would happen at the end of the month. You'd get a notification that your bill's ready, and then at the end of the month, you get a notification, thank you, your bill's been paid. The beauty of paying online and not paying by the check when I go on my bank account. You want to just talk for a second about how wonderful it is when they pay online and how not wonderful it is when they go on a Chase, no offense, to go into their local bank and pay through a mailed check?
When you pay through your own personal checking account, where you go online to your bank and send us a check, we physically get a check. We physically have to check every single one of those checks to the water or the electric. If you don't have an account number on there, we have to look it up by address, and then we have to write up a stub to match that check. If it's water and electric combined, we have to look up both water and electric. Today, a matter of fact, in the mail, we got over 350 of those checks. And the process is very time-consuming. And we do try and get those in at the same day. But sometimes 350 checks plus the regular mail that comes in, personal checks, we take care of the personal checks first, and then we online banking where your bank physically sends us.
Can I just ask you a question before you go? Go back to your latest utility bill is now available online?
Just to talk about that, there's no stub with that check, and that's the big issue is that you're just getting a check in the mail. Some people don't even put their account on it, so you've got to figure out
where it's going.
And sometimes if their checking account is with another address, sometimes, for instance, couples that are separated, divorced, the husband or the wife pays the utility bill, and they live in a different town, it's going to have that town on the check. And it makes things a lot different.
In a town, they have their old address from some whatever town they were at, Chatham or Wisconsin or whatever, and you're looking at going, Wisconsin, who is this? So you end up having to kind of find this customer. The online bill pay is completely different. The online bill pay, you go online, you identify the account, the money goes in, and it goes right into our system. So the having to post the payment that we talked about before with the scanning the stub and then typing the check in, Donna won't even have to do that. The payment goes right to the account and it verifies and does everything. So it's really a wonderful time saving. So we will be sending out marketing material once this platform is we feel comfortable that it's stable and secure. You're going to be getting more information from us about we're really encouraging you to consider.
But I have a question about that.
Yes.
Okay, when you get this, your latest utility bill is now available online. I can't remember, Donna. So it says, please sign into your municipality online banking portal. Is there a way that Harris can actually put the portal right in that, so that you could click right on the portal and it just takes you?
Yes.
Yeah.
There is a link.
Yeah, because people won't use that.
Right.
If they have to go out of this email and go into, okay.
There
I
is-
couldn't remember
there
if
is,
that's,
gonna be
okay, good.
So when we get to the point of the auto pay and you're entering an account, doesn't the account information actually sit with Gov Hub and not with us, or?
It's on the Harris system.
So it's not necessarily borough liability. It's sitting on there. So it's sitting here in the borough.
It will actually sit, right? It sits in the Harris
It
system.
sits in the Harris system.
On our server.
Others, okay.
On our server, yes.
Ben?
We're
That's what
we're
happens with
entertaining
the
questions?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, fine, thank you. The benefit to the resident is clear, right? It's tremendous convenience. And the benefit to the department in charge of billing is clear, because you're obviously going to save more time. But how much is this all costing? Right?
It is very inexpensive. It is, for the merging and the bills and my Gov Hub, the whole package is probably less than $12,000 a year, a lot of it being one-time cost for merging. And there's, I believe, a $2,700 a year my Gov Hub charge. So it's very inexpensive for the amount of savings and the improved customer experience that the residents are going to get.
Good. Thank you. Good to hear.
Any other questions or comments? Excellent. This is, as John Hoover kind of indicated, just another one that you can check off that list of goals to reach.
Yeah, good job.
Well, I have one customer that's going to be very happy.
That's right.
And there you go.
Thank you very much, Donna.
Thanks, Donna.
Excellent. So as mentioned before, there are no ordinances for hearing tonight, as we will push those all to November 23rd for when we have a full council. So we move on to our next item on the agenda, which is the invitation for discussion, where you can come up and speak on any topic. Mayor Kirkeslager, please come on back.
Now I can say good evening. I really came here to thank you and compliment you for putting in improvements to the government website. I want to encourage you to continue doing that on a monthly, annual basis. And I would like to know how you plan to do that, and who do you interface with? Who does the public interface with to give you inputs? If for new features.
Cruz.
Yep. Get to a microphone there. We have 3 open microphones here at the table.
That's right.
Yeah.
Thank you for the question. There is an internal committee that is resolving and working through all the policies. If any residents have any questions, they can actually go onto the website and just submit a tracker question, or they can just pick up the phone and call me or Jim or talk through some of the decisions that we've made on some of the sites, and if they see something that's incorrect. I mean, this is kind of a crowd reviewed situation. John Hoover, Pat Rowe, lots of people, Carmela, Bob, Ben, they've all reviewed it. But if there's little tweaks that we can make, we're going to try to do everything we can to make it.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
I would, if I may, I'd just add to that by saying that the people who've been involved in this process, I believe, it's hard to speak for everyone, but I believe are viewing this not as a static website that gets changed every few years, but an ongoing process of looking at it, reacting to suggestions, and making sure it's always
These
relevant.
capabilities are changing almost daily,
Yes.
and that's wonderful. And this is a continuing initiative, therefore?
Yes, and we actually, at the last council meeting, Mayor, the council elected to hire someone young and understands all this social media and all the websites and everything else. There's a lot of communication tools. Fresh, that the old borough bylines that we had many years ago will come back in a digital format, that the communication tools that are in there, if you want to sign up to be notified of an agenda, you can do that and you'll receive a notification and a like, or staff now in place for the
Wonderful. Did you intend this website to apply equally to mobile devices?
Yes, actually, it automatically scales. So if people look at it on a mobile device, it will automatically shift and change in size And actually, the best way to do it is to go onto your computer and just shrink the window down, and you'll see how it scales from a regular computer to maybe something like an iPad all the way down to an iPhone.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
To ask some questions about the billing?
We'll give you, we're kind of a small crowd. We'll give you bonus time, so yes.
Where is the software residing that is MyGov, the software you're referring to, that runs the billing?
The billing software is on on Borough servers. So the Harris billing system that Donna uses and posts the payments to, and bills come out and everything, is on Borough server. My Gov Hub is a cloud-based solution. That's the payment platform that allows them to pay. It will interface with Harris. So as we said before, the resident's bank account information is in Harris, and the payment will go through that, but the resident will use My Gov Hub to see their bill, and if they want to make a one-time payment on a bill, they can do that through that platform.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to be heard? Seeing none, I close this part of the meeting, and we move on to introduction of ordinances. Can the clerk please read the statement?
The ordinance scheduled for first reading has a hearing date set for November the 23rd, 2015. Will be published in the Madison Eagle, posted on the bulletin board, and made available to members of the public requesting copies.
Call up the ordinance for first reading and ask the Borough Clerk to read said ordinance by title.
Ordinance 55, 2015, Ordinance of the Borough of Madison, amending Chapter 190 of the Madison Borough Code entitled Water to remove references to Ordinance 1-2011, Section 4.
Mayor, I move ordinance 55-2015.
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? Roll call vote.
Mr. Landrigan?
Yes.
Mrs. Vitale?
Yes.
Mr. Wolkowitz?
Yes.
Okay, consent agenda resolutions. Will the clerk please read the statement?
Consent agenda resolutions will be enacted with a single motion. Any resolution requiring expenditure is supported by a certification of availability of funds. Any resolution requiring discussion will be removed from the consent agenda. All resolutions will be reflected in full in the minutes.
Mayor, I move consent agendas Resolution 302-2015 to Resolution 306-2015.
I second it.
No, we're good. That's we pulled the last one. 307 was the. Any further discussion? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Landrigan?
Yes.
Mrs. Vitale?
Yes.
Mr. Wolkowitz?
Yes.
Okay, there is no unfinished business. Approval of vouchers.
Okay, public safety, $52,672.03. Health and public assistance, $5,387.21. Public works and engineering, $77,263.69. Community affairs, $5,585.47. Finance and Borough Clerk, $379,627.60, and utilities, $228,416.89. The total is $748,952.89.
I move for adjournment.
Oh, wait.
You looked at me with that look.
We got to pay the bills first. So.
Yeah, I know.
All right.
I'll move
So,
approval of the
so we got to
vouchers.
move her. Second, please.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Mr. Landrigan?
Yes.
Mrs. Vitale?
Yes.
And Mr. Wolkowitz?
Yes.
And there is no new business, so we can.
Move for adjournment.
All right. Second. Thank you all.
Not too bad.
Did more than try. You
Have
got
the
it
few
done.
resolutions. Do you want to? Let's see. Let me pull it.
So excited.